What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys already know, yesterday was the final day of the second Splitgate 2 playtest, where they went ahead and introduced a bunch of stuff from the first playtest. For example, additional, portal surfaces. They went ahead and increased the time to kill to make it longer, and they also went ahead and removed the factions, so pretty much everything in the game is open to all. But the brand new addition for the second playtest was a portal limit, basically allowing you to have only 4 portals active, and then an 8-second cooldown for those portals to go ahead and come on back. Again, I went into this playtest pretty skeptical. I was worried that this would be a devastating change for the overall Splitgate 2 environment. But I'll be real, it's not the end of the world, and I could definitely see this being implemented if done correctly. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between Splitgate, Arc Raiders, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Gears of War. I've been even discussing Skate. If you guys are interested in any of that content, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do go ahead and stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys are interested in any of that content, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I want to start off by saying, I really hope that these playtests will be a bit more extended throughout the weekends moving forward. I understand that, they have to be tight-knit, and obviously the developers are hard at work, but I do find it very hard to critique a lot of this stuff with the small amount of time that they actually give you. Like, for example, when it comes to the time to kill, the additional portal surfaces, removing the factions, I legitimately could not come up with a very solid opinion about this stuff until this current playtest with the additional time. The first playtest, I was still a little, I just really couldn't come to a true conclusion. I had an opinion, of course, and I shared that opinion with you guys. But that opinion shifted, very drastically going into the second playtest. Like, for example, the time to kill. I love it now. The more that I actually play around with it, the more I truly enjoy it. But I couldn't tell because I didn't have enough time to play it. So hopefully, moving forward, they will have some more additional playtest days, allowing more people to go ahead and hop into the experience. And hopefully, they'll make them a little bit longer as well, even if they could extend it to like 4 hours, 4.5. That would be absolutely wonderful, and will give a wider window of opportunity for people to go ahead and hop into the experience. But as I was saying, the time to kill, I absolutely love, and honestly, there are 2 things that are making it hard for me to want to hop back into the base Splitgate experience after trying it in the playtest. The time to kill and the additional portal walls, I swear. I'm not saying I'm not going to hop back into Splitgate, but I'm just saying, after playing with them so consistently, the game just feels so unbelievably smooth. The time to kill differences makes for much more engaging combat. The additional portal walls gives you so much more variety, and again, it's not overwhelming. It's not like they have one on every single surface. It's perfect. It's just the right amount to allow you to kind of, tap some different angles when it comes to the portal plays you can hit. And, of course, the removed factions. It has definitely grown on me, in my personal opinion. I do know a lot of people out there who enjoy the faction system, including myself. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it added a lot of team play. But I don't think it's the end of the world. The game is still hyper-focused around portal play, and obviously team play, and also gunplay. Having the team system is great and all, but I don't think it's going to be the end-all of Splitgate 2 if they go ahead and remove this. But ladies and gentlemen, enough of all that. Let's get into the real, nitty-gritty topic of today's video. The portal limit system. As I stated before, you are now able to only have 4 portals with a 8-second cooldown on these portals. And there are 2 brand new perks introduced into the game. The first one will, up that 4 portal count to 5 overall portals, which I thought was a mandatory perk. I always used that. And then a second perk that whenever you get a kill, which I'm assuming is connected to assists as well. If a dev can actually confirm this, that would be phenomenal, because I think it does work. If you get a assist, counts as kill. But every single kill that you get cuts 2 seconds off that 8-second timer to get those portals back into your pocket. Now, I will say this change is going to be a rough one to bring to the Splitgate community, and honestly, I feel like they should have done this day 1, you know what I'm saying? If they were going to go back to the drawing board, which I know they didn't plan on wanting to go back to the drawing board, but if this was going to be the situation, I feel like they should have started off with this, see how this pans out with the overall casual audience, the millions of people who came on in and tried out Splitgate, and if it doesn't work out, then bounce back to having unlimited portals. But now, again, we have kind of boiled down to the hardcore audience, and the hardcore audience consists of people who want to portal around nonstop, right? That's literally the name of the game when it comes down to Splitgate 2. So it's definitely going to be a hard one to get a lot of people to even, realistically give a true chance. But I'm going to keep it completely honest with you guys. And again, this is coming from someone who is on a lot of your guys' side as well. I did not want to see this change whatsoever. I was completely against it when I first heard about it. I was thinking to myself, no. Again, Splitgate is about portaling. I don't want to have a limit on anything in regards to portaling. But after I gave it a true shot, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it actually allowed for, a lot of the other amazing aspects of Splitgate 2 to kind of shine. A lot of the skills you learn in arena shooters don't translate very well over to Splitgate 2 because Splitgate 2 and Splitgate 1 is all about portaling, and 9 times out of 10, you can get out of any bad situation you put yourself in by learning how to master the portal mechanic. So you don't really get penalized too much if, again, you master how to portal within the game, which takes away a lot of the shine when it comes down to the movement of the game, the overall, gunplay, flow, atmosphere, maps. When you can just go ahead and maneuver from portal to portal without actually having to move, you don't really, have to take advantage of a lot of the arena aspects that are there to be offered to you. And the devs did a phenomenal job with all that stuff. But as I said, they kind of get phased out by the portal system, which, again, isn't a bad thing because portals are, as I stated, the name of the game. That's what it's all about. But I do believe trying to strike a, middle ground of having the classic arena flow and having portals is not as bad as I was expecting it to be. I was stressed that it would kind of kill the overall flow and it would turn into just strictly an arena game, and that would hurt Splitgate even more than having unlimited portals because, if you're going to go ahead and just play simply an arena game, just go play Halo, go play COD. You can go play any other game out there that'll probably offer more. The charm of Splitgate is the portal, so you don't want to completely strip that from the identity, but honestly, this change did not do such a thing. It actually struck that middle ground of, being able to highlight those arena aspects that the devs worked very hard on implementing, while also still maintaining that fast portal flow, as you can see in the gameplay that you guys are watching. I definitely think that this change will benefit the very casual audience, people who are just coming into Splitgate, trying to, understand the flow, to not get overwhelmed, because again, as I stated, I used to get nightmares about the sound of people portaling around. All you hear is bloop, 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 bloop. I swear, that would traumatize me, and I would be stiff, and I'll just be standing in the middle of the open, not knowing what the heck to do. Trust me, if anybody understands how intimidating that is, it's me. I get it. And I think that this will definitely tone that back a bit and make it a little bit more appealing to a casual player to hop in and give it a shot. But I would like to give my opinion as a semi-experienced Splitgate player, because I think the casuals will be able to make up their mind about this. I think the people who are really torn about this are going to be the players who are skilled with portals and are worried about, if this will kill their flow of the game. Again, I'm not the best of the best. There are some out there who are tremendous, like when I say tremendously better than me at portaling, gunplay, everything, all of the above. There's a lot of great guys out there. But I would say I'm above average. And from my experience, when it comes to this portal limit system, it doesn't kill the gameplay for me. It truthfully does not. And it actually makes me think harder than I did before. Beforehand, I didn't actually plan out anything. I had my specific routes that I would always take with unlimited portals. And I would just take it nonstop. And I would fly around the map, do circles over and over and over again. And it wasn't really much thought process besides understanding the routes and just constantly flowing through the routes. Whereas now I have to actually strategically think about what I want to place, when I'm going to place it, how I'm going to place it, whether it's an offensive portal or a defensive portal. And, I have to be smart about how much I spam it, because if I go too crazy, I'm going to be left in the open and there's nowhere else I can go. At first, it kind of threw me for a twist. And I gotta be honest, like I said, when I first gave it a shot, it pissed me off because I have my regular routes that I'm very used to. And it's hard because these playtests are short and we don't have many days to test it out, so it's hard to get that muscle memory together. So, I'm trying to hit the same portal plays that I was hitting in the base version of the game, and I couldn't get there. And it's driving me crazy. I'm like, bro, I can't even get to my, my usual spot. What's going on here? But the more I played with it, and the more I messed around with it, I understood that flow, and I actually started to engage with the system in a lot better ways. And I'll also say, it's kind of fun too, because it, makes you think when you're getting into an engagement, how are you going to work around the portals? You know what I'm saying? If you see an enemy on the objective, you have 3 portals. Are you going to sit there and wait for the recharge and then go in, try to hit a triple portal and get behind them? Or, is 3 portals enough? Can you do bam, 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 get to a nice spot, gun them down? Are you confident enough in your gunplay? Are there, few enemies so you can handle that engagement without having to portal away? You see what I'm saying here? The skill gap is increased for skilled players, while it's also easier for a new player to hop in. In a weird way, it's almost a win-win scenario for both types of players for what they're looking for in the overall experience. And I also want to mention this as well. It's a little off topic, but I love the brand new portal noise when an enemy goes through their own personal portal. fantastic. It makes it a lot easier to know when someone's flanking you, coming around, or where they're approaching you from if they're leaving or exiting a portal. So I'm very happy with the new audio cues. But back to the portal discussion here. I will say there are a couple of things that should still be improved upon. And I will say, I'm still not completely sold on this brand new change here. I'm not sold. Again, we need more playtime. Just like how I wasn't sold with the time to kill changes, we're going to need another playtest, maybe even 2 playtests, where the majority of the community can continuously hop back in and really see if they like this change or not. There's a lot of people that I know personally that couldn't even make this playtest, so they have no clue. All they can go based off of is the gameplay they're watching right here. So, I'm not completely sold just yet, but I will say, if this system sticks, I personally believe that it should not be 4 portals by default, it should be 5 portals by default. And then with the first perk, instead of it being, 4 to 5 portals with the perk equipped, it'll be 5 to 6 portals with the perk equipped. And the reason I say this is that I could not play with 4 portals. It was way too few. It just didn't feel like I could chain anything together, and I felt way too limited in the game. 5 felt like the sweet spot. So on all my classes, I literally ran the perk that gave me an additional portal, and I feel like that's going to be the main thing. And if you really want a perk system in this game, you have to find a way to balance that. Because, again, the game is around portaling. And with portal perks, people are going to want to automatically choose those, especially if you are limited tremendously with them. And also if you're at a massive disadvantage if you don't run them, which you are. The second perk as well, which cuts 2 seconds off that 8-second timer every kill that you get, is massive, especially if you want to take advantage of what this game is all about with portals. I almost think that should be a mandatory thing. It shouldn't even be a perk. In my personal opinion, I feel like just with the game itself, if you get a kill or if you get an assist, maybe it should speed up the rate. Or maybe not. I don't know. It might be something fun to go ahead and test out here. But that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is how many portals you start off with. I'm a firm believer that you should start off with 5, and if you want 6, you can equip the perk. I was also having a little bit of a discussion in my chat on Twitch that I thought was a interesting topic, but the individual brought up the point of maybe having the portals on a recharge rate. So think of like a power-up weapon that, basically could spray it as much as you want until it overheats. Basically, the portal gun overheats. I don't know how you guys feel about this one. I don't know. I just wanted to bring it out there as, another alternative that you guys might be able to, go ahead and discuss down in the comment section if you think it's a good or bad idea. But I thought that might be pretty interesting. So basically, the faster or quicker you portal, the more you spam it, the quicker it will overheat and you have to wait for the cooldown. And if you could actually pace yourself correctly and not go too crazy, but you could still, know how to portal around in a correct manner, you won't overheat the gun, which won't completely penalize you. I just thought that was a really cool concept. It might be an interesting idea to bring up to the developers. But ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I want to know what you guys think about this portal limit down in the comment section below. Of course, as I stated, I'm not sold completely just yet on it being a great change for the overall Splitgate environment. But I will say, I was kind of, not as salty as I thought I was going to be. And I was pretty happy at the end of the overall second playtest. It didn't play very bad. And I kind of got into a flow state that was pretty solid. So again, we'll see with future playtests. Hopefully they go ahead and test it out again, and maybe we'll see some other introductions in the future playtests for Splitgate 2. Like for example, the EMP grenades that they were hinting at, which will disable the whole wall. I'm very curious how all that stuff will be handled, but again, only time will tell. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and also a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.